Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have this really fun set of butterfly cards to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to start by cutting down my cardstock, and yes, I'm going to show you cutting the cardstock because I do have a fair amount of beginners that watch my channel, so it is easier if I can just show them all of the steps in order. But I've had comments in the past about people not appreciating me sharing cutting all of the things, but I'm going to anyway. So you saw me cut down 3 sheets of my black cardstock. Some of those are to cut the butterfly out, and then the other ones will be used for the base. I'm also going to introduce you to my new kittens. This one you see right here is Aqua. She is beautiful. You guys will see more of her, I am sure. If you saw my live on Thursday, you will have met the kittens already, but this is their first video being introduced on the channel. And her brother will show up a little later in the video. So I'm cutting down my black mat to be about 1/8 of an inch smaller than my A2 base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I kind of eyeball my measurements, but that is the closest I can give you that kind of makes sense. And then for my watercolor panel, I'm cutting that to be 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I get a nice thin border all the way around on my panels and layers. I love that look. By no means do you have to do this. You can of course make the border thicker or smaller, however you like to do it. This is just my preferred method. And I am using watercolor cardstock for the colored panels because we're going to bust out the ink sprays, which is one of my favorite ways to do this. But of course, you can do this with watercolors if you prefer. You can do it with your ink pads. There are several ways to do this. I hadn't had a play with my ink sprays recently, and I really wanted to bust them out. So that's what I'm going to do. So all of my sprays that I'm using in this video are the Mica spray stains from Tim Holtz. They come out seasonally, though I believe they are all still for sale. So I will have everything I used linked and listed down below as always. You can go and check it out. But for the colors that I'm using, that first one you just saw was Cocktail Party and Juniper Berry. Then we have Wicked Elixir and Shiny Bauble. Next is Flickering Candle and Hocus Pocus. Then I used... I lost my train of thought there. Snow Flurries and Hocus Pocus was next. Sorry, the green one you just saw is coming up right here. And then we have Flickering Candle and Sugary Gumdrop and Jack-o'-lantern and Cocktail Party. Now, originally for the last one, you're going to see it here in a second, I wanted to use WinterBerry. But you're going to see when I go and try to spray it, WinterBerry won't spray. I think my mica got stuck in my spray and it would not spray. So sadly, I was not able to use it. It's this one right here. I tried to use WinterBerry, but it would not. It's just plugged, so it would not spray. There was nothing I could do. So I brought back in Cocktail Party instead and used that with it because I love the pinks. So I tend to want to use those colors. And then I just set WinterBerry aside so that I could get a replacement cap for it to change it out. I mean, you can go and try to flush water through it, whatever you want, but I think it's easier to replace the cap at that point because it can be difficult to salvage. So for our big butterfly, I have the Tim Holtz perspective butterfly. It is quite large. I find that I have to use my chrome plate to get a decent cut, and even then I still struggle a little bit to get it out. Not the body so much, but I find that one antenna always gets stuck and rips off. So you're going to see that it just ripped off right there. I have 2 that the antenna ripped off. I just glued them back on because I don't think you can really tell. And then here I'm just dropping it on my glass mat to get the little pieces to fall out. I do bring in my pokey tool and poke them to kind of try to get them to fall out on their own. And then I'm going to run it through again you're going to see there's 6 cards. So we're going to cut the butterfly in half, and then we get 3 butterflies cut in half. We get 6 cards out of it. So that is just kind of my way to do it. I thought that was a lot of fun. And now I left this clip in. I would have cut it at this point, but this is where you're going to meet Aqua's brother, and his name is Azure, as in the color. So I call him Az. So we have Azure and Aqua because they're 2 shades of blue, and these kittens have bright blue eyes. Very, very pretty. So normally I would cut this clip out, but he's here and I wanted you guys to have the chance to see him. So you get to he walks across the screen a bunch of times. That is why this clip was left in. because I wanted you guys to see how cute he is and how playful he is. So he came and helped me on my desk while I was, cleaning out the butterfly. And then he's going to help me, just supervise while I kind of work on this. But here's kind of my trick with the antenna. See, I just ripped that one off again. I do go in with my die pick, and I guess this is actually a craft tool. It's not the die pick. The die pick's not sharp, whereas this one is kind of sharp, which I think is why I end up ripping the antenna so much, is because when I poke the base of where the antenna is supposed to let go, this one's sharp and it cuts through. So it's really difficult to get it to kind of not rip the antenna. And then when I pull on it, of course, it rips off. So I just glue them back on. Not a big deal, but something to keep in mind. And I have had questions about that. I like to use my chrome die plate for, intricate dies. I personally have not read all the rules that go with a die cutting machine, but I did have a friend mention recently that you're not supposed to use the chrome plate with the Switch Plus machine. However, I do it all the time. So, if you're concerned about warranty things, follow whatever the warranty states based on, the machine and the company. But for me personally, I want to be able to use my tools, so I just adapt them and use them how I want to use them. So just keep that in mind. If you're concerned, definitely follow warranty, but I want to be able to use my stuff. So I did go ahead and splatter some white splatters into the background of my mica sprayed backgrounds. Keep in mind, this isn't going to stay stark white because they are water reactive inks. So the white drops are going to turn a little bit of the shade of color on top of them. I don't mind that. It doesn't bother me. Like here at this point, they're pretty much dry. So you can see they're not quite as white as they were, but you can still see them. And I just wanted the texture, so I'm not really concerned about that. If that is a concern for you, you could try sealing the mica sprays. I've never done that. I do get questions almost every time I use mica sprays about sealing. I've never tried to seal them. I don't have the problem where when you're, using them that they flake off on your fingers. I've had questions about that. I've never had that issue. So as far as I can tell from watching Tim Holtz lives, if you're having the mica kind of flake off on you, it's because you've used too much product and your cardstock was not able to absorb the moisture, is my understanding. Now, if you have more questions, it would be good to watch the Tim Holtz live when he announced these sprays, or any of the sprays, these ones specifically, and that should, kind of give you more tips and tricks on using them if you're having issues. I by no means am a master of these sprays. I don't use them too often, but I love them because they're so vibrant. And you guys know, if you've been with my channel for a minute, that vibrant colors are my thing. I love them. But as far as I understand, you can't be, first of all, if you're going to use sprays, I would suggest a watercolor cardstock because there's so much moisture. So if you're using a regular paper, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the color is coming off and some of the mica's kind of fluming. But otherwise, try to have a lighter hand and see what happens. I kind of try to start with like 1 or 2 sprays, a little bit of water, and then if I like it, I leave it. And if I don't, I add a little more, because that kind of, you can always add more, but you can never take it away, if that kind of makes sense. So that's kind of my rule of thumb for when I'm creating cards with products like that. The same applies to my alcohol inks. The same applies, that's kind of my rule of thumb for everything except ink blending, because I'm generally intentionally trying to get a fair amount of ink down. So so just keep that in mind. As for the Band-Aid on my finger, because I'm going to get some questions. I slammed my door into the pantry and I cracked my nail almost the whole way. At this point, I had just done it and I really needed to get something done. So I am, making the cards, but you will see videos at a later date where I will not have a fingernail on that hand, or on that finger, because I ripped my natural nail down to almost the cuticle. So, and before someone says something about, well, that's why you shouldn't have long nails, because there's always someone who makes a comment about the length of my nails. The length had no relevance here. I smashed my finger near the cuticle. So even if I had had short nails, I would have done the damage that I did. So the length had no relevance to the injury. It's just one of those things, you get busy doing stuff. I was making pancake dinner and I was rushing around and I slammed my finger. So you will see many a video to come where I have a Band-Aid on my pinky. That is why, and I no longer have a nail on it. I took the nail off so that I could make sure that it stayed clean. So There will be no nail on my pinky for quite a while, so you will just see a Band-Aid because I have to protect the open skin of it. So there you go. Now you know you don't have to ask the questions, because I will get questions. I always do. But yeah. So then you saw me cut the butterfly in half. I cut it directly in half, and I'm just gluing them on this way so that I can use the whole butterfly on the card front. Otherwise, the butterfly is too large for the A2 size, so you would have to cut a fair amount of it off, and I didn't want to. I really wanted to use the whole of the butterfly for this. So I opted to just cut it in half so that I could make it A2 sized for my card panel. And at this stage of the game, I didn't know what I wanted to do for the sentiment. If I had known what I wanted to do, I would not have stuck the very bottom piece of the wing down because I want to tuck my sentiment underneath it. But I didn't know. This card I didn't know what I was doing. I really wanted to work with my sprays. I knew that. Outside of that, I didn't really know what I wanted to do for a focal. But because I have, it's been minus 30 here this week, Celsius, and I'm dreaming of spring, I thought that the butterflies would be really fun to play with. So that's kind of what I was thinking, and that's why I brought them out. But for my sentiment, I'm going to use the Tim Holtz label sentiment stickers. And if I was thinking, I would have just left the bottom of the wing, like the very, very lowest piece, unadhered at this stage. And then I could have just, easily tucked it and then adhered it after. But I did not do that. So I am going to have to lift it a little bit just so I can stick the wing or stick the sentiment. I just wanted to tuck it just a touch under the wing there. So you're going to see me have to lift the wing up just a touch so that I can slip the sentiment underneath it. And luckily these reverse tweezers make it incredibly easy to just lift up a little bit and then stick it so that the sentiment is kind of hidden underneath that stage. And I have 2 sheets of these label sentiment stickers because I love them so much. They're some of my favorite easy sentiments because they're so fun. And I wanted to keep that black going with a little bit of white. Now you could, if you don't have these, do sentiments in a label and then just cut them down. White heat emboss them on, you could do so many different things here. I originally thought about stamping on the background. You could emboss that. Like there's so many things you could do here. I have these stickers on hand and I think they're really fun. So, if you have a label maker, make your own sentiments. Like that would be really cool too. There's so many things you could do here if you don't have these exact sentiments. You guys know, if you've been with my channel, I am a firm believer in using what you have. You don't always have to buy new. Don't get me wrong, new is a lot of fun and I like to purchase new things, but you don't have to. Use what you have. Stamps are, great because you can constantly reuse them, like completely up to you, but I think that it's great to use the stuff that you have on hand. So keep that in mind. And I assume these label stickers are still available. I haven't had to purchase any for a little while. They are an older Tim Holtz product. But as I said, everything is always linked and listed down below. And if it's not down below, it's because they're no longer available and I couldn't find something I felt was similar enough. Sometimes I'll just do like a general listing where it'll be like ribbon and it'll be like all of the ribbon on the website. So you can go and pick a color you like for your project. Because using the links, of course, do give me a little bit of affiliate sales. I get a little commission if you use my links. So if you're shopping anyway and you wouldn't mind, that would be phenomenal. I would greatly appreciate it. It just makes it easier for me to keep the free content on the channel because it gives me a little bit of money. So if you are shopping and you wouldn't mind using my affiliate links, I would greatly appreciate that. So thank you so much to everybody who does. And also thank you so much to my channel members. You guys are phenomenal. I cannot express how much I appreciate your support. The channel memberships are always an option as well if you want to support the channel with a little bit of monetary value. Completely up to you, not expected at all, but I do greatly appreciate it if that's something that's interesting to you. There's a link where you can go and check out what the perks of being a member are and what the cost is if it's at all interesting to you. But thank you to my members so much. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of foam tape behind the panels. This foam tape is incredibly thin. It is the Big Mama foam tape from Simon Says Stamp. It is like a 1/8 of an inch thick. So that gives you, it's quite thin. And this roll I have had for years. Like it takes forever to actually use it all. So, I love the Big Mama foam tape. It is my favorite by far. I actually bought a second roll a while ago and I haven't even had to bust it out yet because I'm still working on that first roll. So yeah, lots of fun. But I am just going to use it because I think that it gives just a nice little bit of dimension to the card. This card is, for me, fairly simple. Other than cutting the butterfly, every step was pretty straightforward. None of them took a long time. It was just the butterfly. And even the butterfly, I mean, we only cut 3 and you got 6 cards out of it. And you could, again, like make this a set. You could make this a birthday card, happy birthday, instead of the kind of sentiments that I chose. I chose more supportive sentiments, or like celebrate you, that kind of stuff. One of these is for a friend specifically, so she got a specific sentiment, but some of them say like congratulations. Like you could literally do anything. You could make these thank you cards and then, wrap a bow around them and give them as a gift. There's so many fun things you could do with this. I just try to give you guys the ideas, and then I get excited when you guys tag me when you've recreated the cards in your own way so that I can see them, because that's kind of the point. I'm just here to give you guys ideas, and then you get to do whatever you want with them and hopefully share it with me, because I'd love to see them. And because this is me, and because I can't ever resist adding a few little pearls, I did bring in some cream pearls. These are the new ones I got that I showed in the Simon Says Stamp haul that I did back in the end of January. This calls for confetti cream pearls. They're really pretty. They're this beautiful off-white, and they're quite stunning in person. So they don't quite read as much as I'd wished on video, but in person they are absolutely stunning. So if you're in the market for some embellishments and you like pearls as much as I do, check out the This Calls for Confetti ones. They are really pretty. So that is the card set I have for you guys today. I think it's pretty straightforward and simple. I love how they turned out. I'm so excited about them. I didn't add anything on the inside. You absolutely could. I didn't. If you had the perspective stamp set, it would be really cool to pick out like maybe an oxide color that was similar to what you've used on the front with the micas, and then stamping that on the inside would be kind of like a fun detail. I don't have that stamp set. I might have to get my hands on it, but currently I don't own it, so I didn't do anything on the inside, but you absolutely could, and that would be a lot of fun. So here you can see all that mica in its beauty. Like the mica sprays, if you've never played with them and you like shine as much as I do, pick up a couple, just a couple. Pick up your favorite colors, even 2 or 3, and then just give them a gander. Like, they're a lot of fun. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and every second Thursday is a live stream, though I did have to move the next one. It will be February 27th. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.